The plan had changed because they had gained a reliable source of power, none other than the magnanimous permission of Lord Bong the Summoner, and on top of that, he had said he would personally take them all the way to the Beijing Tower. The summoned entities' hearts swelled with emotion. Clause 3 of Rule 3 aligned perfectly with Lord Bong the Summoner's will. It could not have been better. So, since they were doing this anyway, they decided to do it properly. The first to arrive at the Beijing Tower with Juhyuk were Cossack and Diamat. "Sir, sorry to trouble you, sir. Not at all. I just need to use the Ring of Tower exit, but in return, yes, sir, minimize civilian casualties. I'll keep it firmly in mind, sir." After parting ways with Juhyuk, Cossack and Diamat moved toward Beijing. The two talked as they went. "We jumped up 2 whole ranks, sir. I may not be a succubus queen, but I think I've at least become a succubus princess, sir. Yes, I've almost fully recovered my abilities." Using another rune of defector rank advancement, Diamat had returned from SR to SSR. It's all thanks to my master. You should always keep a grateful heart, sir." At that, Diamat twisted her body slightly and spoke with a provocative smile. "Oh my, of course. Our master is my savior, you know. Even giving him everything I have wouldn't be enough." Cossack suddenly snapped in anger. "Hey, don't go flaunting yourself around just anywhere. You'll give Lord Bong the Summoner impure dreams, you know? Huh? Sorry, you can't even compare to a toe of Veronica caliber, huh? That person is far too great for me." "Enough." Cossack issued his first order. "Defector Diamat, can you infiltrate other people's dreams and extract information, sir? That's my specialty, you know." "Good. Head to Zhongnanhai immediately and enter the dreams of the high-ranking officials. Find Chairman Liu Zhao's movements, schedule, and location. I'll give you 24 hours, sir." "Yes. I'll stop by the North Korean embassy and come back, sir." The first phase went smoothly. Diamat and Cossack each obtained the information they needed. And 2 days later, at last, it was time to act. The summoned entities began their operation. Juhyuk appeared once again at the Beijing Black Tower, and the summoned entities, Mad Demon, Cossack, Meatshield, Barden, Veronica Caliber, Geppetto, and Diamat, 7 in total. Radjix made a special appearance. His mission was delivery. Whoosh! Radjix pulled an item out of his subspace backpack. That was the end of his role. "Good work, Cosmic Troubleshooter." "Who?" Meatshield slung the nuclear backpack onto his back, the very one Jiang Changsu had carried in Pyongyang. They had modified the detonator fuse into a timer fuse back in North Korea. It wasn't even their property, so they might as well return it. Beijing, China. Liu Zhao, President of the People's Republic of China, had turned 78 this year. Despite his age, he looked remarkably young, about 10 years younger, perhaps. When he had first taken office, his face novelites, read the full story, had been covered in wrinkles. Why the change? Because he had consumed the precious elixir of rejuvenation, though its effects were minimal for those under 30, and repeated use drastically reduced its efficacy. For those over 40, the older, the better, the elixir of rejuvenation truly shone. Originally, it was a potion given as a gift to players who cleared the 71st floor, so they could climb the tower long and healthily. In other words, it was meant for players to consume. The Liberation Rune Necklace, the Ring of Transformation, and the Potion of Disease Cure had been given with the same intent. But could players really keep such items for themselves? Not a chance. In the end, they had to hand them all over to those in power. China was no different. All the items that emerged from its 3 towers were taken by Liu Zhao himself and the standing committee members. So what? These items were better for the elderly than for the young. Young players who handed them over could be compensated in other sufficient ways. 10 precious years of youth. Perhaps because of that, Liu Xiao's policies had grown increasingly bold. The terrorist attack at the opening ceremony of the Pyongyang branch of the Korean Awakening administration had, in fact, largely been his decision. Of course, it had gone through a standing committee meeting. Today was also the day for a meeting of the 7 standing committee members, including himself. The Pyongyang operation had failed. But they could not just sit around in a daze. They needed countermeasures. The meeting location was the Daluk Crisis Management Headquarters. These days, all top standing committee meetings were held there, because Zhongnanhai had been breached once before, when a kidnapped player escaped in the past. It had been a national humiliation, an incident that damaged China's national prestige. That was why Liu Xiao favored the underground bunker at the Daluk Crisis Management Headquarters, a place that would not even flinch if a nuclear bomb went off. With only one entrance, it boasted ironclad defenses. In short, it was the safest place in China. External intrusion was absolutely impossible. Why go this far? In the past year alone, there had been 3 presidents, following former President Lin Chai-ming and then former President Wang Yuan. Liu Zhao was the 3rd. If something happened to him as well, China would descend into uncontrollable chaos, and in wartime it was not unusual for national leaders to govern from underground bunkers. Safety above all else. Let's begin the meeting. First agenda item: the 7 summoned entities were near the Daluk Crisis Management Headquarters. Even from afar, the security was extremely tight. High walls with tower-style guard posts erected at intervals. Located in an open plain away from the city, the field of view was wide open. Anyone attempting to approach would definitely be spotted, but that only applied to ordinary people. What use were such petty guard posts against summoned entities of SSR rank or higher? 7 combat-type summoned entities had mobilized in full force. Success was not the question. Speed was. I and the vampire will infiltrate the underground bunker first and seize the CCTV central control room, sir. After 10 minutes, move in while clearing the guard posts, sir. What if there were 100 cameras? Once the control room was taken, it was over. The blind spot of ironclad security. Why terrorists in movies always seized the control room first. Whoosh, Cossack vanished into stealth. Boom, Geppetto transformed into a bat. 10 minutes passed. Diamen initiated her move. Flap, 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 flap. Her wings spread wide. The wide area dream domain was deployed. Diamen's unique skill, now with expanded range and extended duration after ranking up to SSR. If you thought about it, dream demons were terrifying beings. Why else would the administrators have manifested Diamat outside the tower? Ordinary people without resistance fell asleep the moment they entered the dream domain. Tiud, Tiud, the guards collapsed. Tiud, Tiud. After clearing the guard posts, the soldiers outside the bunker followed. If she simply flew one full circle over the Daluk Crisis Management Headquarters with her wings spread, everyone fell into sweet dreams and collapsed. Leaving her unattended would have been a disaster. Ordinary people can never resist it. Even I, a holy knight, got caught. Let alone others. Warriors can endure it, a little. The collapsed guards were carried to a safe place by Mad Demon, Meatshield, Bardin, and Veronica Caliber together. This was the hardest part. They had to keep their promise to Lord Bong the Summoner to minimize casualties. Then they entered the bunker. The door was already open. Tud, tud. Diamat advanced while continuously deploying the dream domain. Tud, tud. Those who slipped outside the domain were subdued by Mad Demon's precise strikes. Zap, zap, tud, tud. Veronica Caliber's paralysis rounds also assisted. Those who collapsed inside were carried outside as well. The bunker had to be completely cleared. leaving only Chairman Liu Zhao and the standing committee members. All of this was carried out with extreme secrecy, so the people inside the meeting had no idea what was happening outside the underground bunker conference room of the Daluc Crisis Management Headquarters. A standing committee meeting chaired by Liu Zhao. Kim In-jung has lodged a fierce protest through diplomatic channels, so Jiang Changsu spilled everything. He's from a small country. We never trusted him to begin with. What evidence remains? None besides Lieutenant Colonel Jiang Changsu's testimony. After the failure of the Pyongyang nuclear terror attack, the Chinese government erased all evidence, even the family of Jiang Changsu, whom they had brought into China. Thus, no evidence remained. They say they'll sever diplomatic ties if we don't formally apologize. Humph, they still haven't come to their senses, those beggars who used to grovel. Liu Zhao's face flushed red with anger. Start with military pressure. Yes. We'll deploy mechanized units of the Northern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army along the Yalu River and strengthen the Hallyu Ban, an order prohibiting Korean-produced content within China. At the same time, it disadvantaged Korean products and Korean companies operating in China, deploy Chinese fishing vessels to the West Sea and ram them. He devised countless other sanctions as well. They would crush both South and North Korea from all sides. Arrogant bastards. Just because they were good at tower raids, they thought they could run wild without knowing how high the sky was. The meeting dragged on. Eventually they grew thirsty and hungry. Since we're all gathered, let's have a drink. How about it? Yes, let's do that. Do we have any good liquor? There are a few bottles of Guizhou Maotai. Oh, excellent. Liu Zhao signaled with his eyes to the aide waiting behind them to go out and prepare a proper spread. The secretary hurried out. They waited for quite some time. Just as they began wondering why it was taking so long, creak, the meeting room door opened. A strange man entered, pushing a cart laden with alcohol and food. Rattle. Liu Zhao tilted his head. The man's appearance was unusual. A Westerner? Why would someone like that be here at the Daluc Crisis Management Headquarters? And he was not alone. An old man followed him in, and then a man with a massive build. It's an assassination. Take the liquor too. Looks like good stuff. We should bring it back and have a drink with the summoner. How are we supposed to carry it? If we're unsummoned, we'll have to leave it behind. Then we'll call our servant. Calling the cosmic servant just to carry alcohol will get us cursed at. It's fine. The summoner likes alcohol too. I'll contact him later. Liu Zhao was dumbfounded. The standing committee members were the same. None of it felt real. Just where did these people think they were, barging in like this? What were the guards doing? Now that he thought about it, the outside was eerily quiet, like a grave. What had happened to everyone? Just what in the world was going on? Who are you people? At that, the old man spoke. Who are we? Heroes of justice who've come to punish you. Did you really think you'd get away unscathed after doing something like that? It was Chinese, with a bit of archaic phrasing that was no longer used. Something like that? Pyongyang. Pyongyang? Mad Demon Nim, don't waste words. Hurry up and do the pressure point strike. Not bloodletting, pressure point. They need to stay conscious until the moment they die. Understood. PIP, PIP. Finger flicks shot from Mad Demon's hand. Liu Zhao and the standing committee members all stiffened rigidly. They could not even open their mouths. Meanwhile, Cossack was setting up a tripod and mounting a camera. Mad Demon Nim, please move out of frame. Then, slide. Cossack's face began to change. Do I look Chinese? Isn't that a historical drama face? Ah, damn it, I forgot. Liu Zhao stared blankly. A historical drama? I changed it again. Now you look Chinese. Hehehe, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. We're all about the same, aren't we? What the hell was that? changing his face at will, a ring of transformation, but he was not even wearing a ring. Have you memorized all your lines? I memorized them. I'm a master of Beijing dialect now. Cossack, his face altered, stood in front of Chairman Liu Jiao and the standing committee members, who sat there completely unable to move. Meat shield, the thing on your back. Put it over there, behind them. Make sure it doesn't get caught on the camera. Understood. Meat shield carefully placed the cylindrical object he had been carrying behind the camera. The immobilized men stared in horror, eyes wide open, breathing growing ragged. They could not help it. It was a nuclear backpack, the very one Jiang Changsu had carried in Pyongyang. Why was that here too? Rede Babs Navolal, Subcum. Were they actually going to detonate it? Were these people insane? Were they planning to wipe out China's top leadership all at once? Did they have no fear of the consequences? No, that could not be it. They were just trying to scare them. That was what Liu Jiao firmly believed. Cossack checked his face on the camera feed, then pressed the record button. The nuclear backpack placed behind the camera would not be visible on screen, but they could see it clearly. The numbers on the timer steadily ticking down. 5 minutes remaining. Cossack slowly opened his mouth. Fluent Beijing Chinese flowed out. I am a player who has inherited the great socialist spirit of the masses. He began with an introduction. But does the current Chinese government truly carry on the spirit of socialism? One cannot help but doubt it. Straight to the point. Filthy capital exploits the people, and those who rule China are steeped in it. Look at Chairman Liu Jiao's shiny, greasy face, a piglet rejuvenated by drinking the elixir of rejuvenation. Cossack's expression turned solemn. O great players of China, how long will you continue to live exploited by pigs? Rise up, resist the despicable dictatorship. The revolution lies in your hands. His voice grew louder and more thunderous. Make the exploiters tremble before the revolution. Players have nothing to lose in revolution but their chains, and what they gain is the power of the tower. Players of the great Chinese continent, unite. In truth, Cossack had no idea what he was actually saying. He was just parroting the Chinese pronunciations of a script written for him at the North Korean embassy. And so today, we have decided to pass judgment on these pigs. You cannot build without destroying first. For a new China, we will cleanly sweep away the old and rotten. And finally, long live the People's Republic of China. Long live it, long live it. Liu Jiao and the standing committee members were going mad with terror. It did not even matter what those unidentified players were saying, the nuclear backpack right before their eyes, the countdown continuing relentlessly. Less than 2 minutes remained now. Was it really going to explode like this? A nuclear blast in Beijing? They had to live. They had to make excuses, beg if they had to. They had to bow their heads and plead desperately. We're sorry. We've committed unforgivable sins. We'll never do anything foolish again. So please spare our lives. They had become 10 years younger. They could live another 30 years easily, but they could not even open their mouths, and the intruders had vanished without a trace. Inside the conference room, only Liu Jiao and the standing committee members remained. 1 minute left. Liu Jiao struggled desperately, trying to move, to stop the timer. Damn it! He strained so hard that blood vessels burst in his eyes. 30 seconds remaining. He still could not believe it. The safest place in all of China, and a nuclear explosion here? Regret flooded him. That nuclear backpack. If they had not orchestrated the Pyongyang terror attack, it would never have ended up here. But it was too late now. Was he destined to follow in the footsteps of the previous presidents? 10 seconds remaining. 9, 8. Liu Jiao and the standing committee members writhed helplessly. Their eyes were filled with nothing but despair. Grr. Their mouths began to open little by little, vocal cords trembling. But no, the detonator activated. Ufamja ro, boom, kumkuya, no, kumkukum. It finally exploded. The nuclear backpack that had not detonated in Pyongyang exploded in Beijing instead. Inside a bunker where China's top leaders were all gathered, scorching heat engulfed the conference room. In his final moment, Liu Jiao thought of it. The third death of a Chinese president already. Would it even be possible to appoint a successor? The chaos would last a very long time. Coup! The underground bunker collapsed. The shockwave of the explosion spread across all of Beijing. An unprecedented event. Coup! 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 The 7 summoned entities watched the collapsing bunker from afar. Refreshing, sir. This is what they call mirroring. We just returned it exactly as it was. But was the recording done properly? The camera got destroyed too. Honestly, stop drinking all the time and learn something. That's why people call you an old fossil wherever you go. The camera is for filming, and the video gets saved here on the smartphone. That's how you upload it to YouTube. Mad Demon's face turned cold. So, you're also an RSR now. Good. Even if you take a few hits, you won't die. Yes? Shall we loosen up your body a bit? It's about time we sorted out the hierarchy. ZZRs, a crescent-shaped sword aura floated above Mad Demon's hand. Flash. Cossack bolted away in an instant. Haha, that guy, he really is fast. Flash. Mad Demon's body vanished as well. Martial arts footwork and shadow step. Who would be faster? The operation ended successfully. It was time for the final report. The number of dead was only 7. However, all 7 had been China's highest-ranking figures of power. Put in Korean terms, it was as if the sitting president and the next presidential frontrunners, 7 in total, had all been wiped out in one place. This was nothing like previous situations where the chairman's seat had merely become vacant. It would be extremely difficult to stabilize things in a short time. Cossack connected his smartphone to the TV. He said he had filmed everything properly. I am the master of mise-en-scène, a giant of art cinema, a stickler for historical accuracy, a director who rejects CG in favor of realism, a method actor fully immersed in his roles, and a director and actor with 10 million views, none other than me, Cossack. The introduction went on and on. RSR Cossack, what could he not do? The footage began to play. Cossack, his face altered through polymorph, delivering a long speech, terrified Chinese politicians, and then KWA, 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 KWA. With a deafening roar, the screen went black. Clap, 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 clap. The summoned entities burst into applause. Cossack raised his hand in acknowledgement, as if standing on a red carpet. No, seriously, why are you showing this? I did give permission, but seeing the finished product made my heart pound wildly. Of course it did. This was not exactly an everyday occurrence. The piece turned out great, and I already uploaded the video to YouTube from Beijing, under a Chinese account. He had even made it public. A video filled with utterly absurd claims. Players of the great Chinese continent, unite. What was this? The Communist Manifesto? Anyway, China was going to be noisy for quite a while. They would not have the leisure to pay attention to discussions about Korean reunification either, a result born from the activation of Rule 3, Clause 3 for summoned entities. Chairman of China plus the Standing Committee members, 7 deaths total. At this level, it was the minimum sacrifice. Revenge had been taken and future threats removed. All of it was ultimately for my sake. You worked hard, and thank you always for looking out for me. Ahem. There's no need for thanks. I merely did what had to be done. Veronica Caliber, just give the order any time. Ah, no need to thank us at all. This Cossack understands Lord Bong the Summoner's heart just by looking into your eyes. Ho! In any case, it ended well, even if the aftershocks would be severe. In Beijing, China, an explosion and tremor rang out. At first, people thought it was an earthquake. The nuclear backpack's destructive power was not as great as that of a conventional nuclear weapon, and since it detonated deep underground inside a bunker, there was no fallout or mushroom cloud. But soon, the military unit stationed closest to the headquarters rushed in first. Defending the Daluc Crisis Management Headquarters had been their mission in the first place. The unit commander arrived on site and began directing rescue operations, a horrific scene. The headquarters building had completely collapsed. People lay scattered everywhere, groaning, enough to make someone faint. What kind of place was Degree N Furv NLIGHT Degree this, the most heavily guarded location in Beijing? A bunker housing the office and residence of Chairman Liu Zhao. Yet the soldiers assigned to protect it were all lying injured outside the headquarters. Putting it all together, there had clearly been an explosion, not outside, but inside the bunker. Those lying outside had been far enough from the building to suffer only indirect damage. It was utterly baffling. The guards were all elite Special Forces soldiers with the highest level of training. Even they did not know what had happened. They said they had lost consciousness, then regained it amid a violent explosion and shock wave. And the most critical issue, the soldiers aside, what about the chairman and the standing committee members? Were they inside the collapsed bunker? Those lying outside were not just soldiers. There were also permanent staff, aides, and secretaries from the headquarters. Their testimonies were identical. They lost consciousness momentarily, and when they woke up, they were outside. Was this the work of ghosts? If humans had been involved, there should have been at least some witnesses, but no one remembered anything. In any case, neither the chairman nor the standing committee members were found outside. A bad sign. If they were inside the collapsed structure, then an officer came sprinting over in a panic. "Commander, what is it?" "At the blast site, radiation signatures have been detected." "What?" "Then, a nuclear explosion. Just a hypothesis. This was bad." An unimaginable outcome flashed through his mind. At that very moment, ding, 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 smartphone notifications rang out everywhere. Because of the explosion? No. But please look at this. What is it? YouTube? A video streaming platform banned in China. Yet everyone watched it anyway, through workarounds. A suspicious video was uploaded. An acquaintance sent me the link and told me to watch it. The commander watched the video on the phone. Moments later, my God, the commander's hand trembled violently as he held the phone. A single YouTube video shook the entire world. It contained the rant of a Chinese player armed with mad fanaticism and the explosion itself. The view count exploding was only natural. This was not ordinary content, and the people shown in the video, who were they? For now, everyone was cautious. Even the media hesitated to report on it. The matter was too big. It could be a deepfake. Such videos were not unheard of, but soon it was confirmed to be real. There was no compositing. When factoring in the time, location, and upload origin, the video was authentic, and the Chinese authorities responded with silence. No statements, no denials. If the video had been fake, all they had to do was have even one of the people shown appear publicly. They could not. Thus, the death of the third Chinese president was confirmed. The world was thrown into shock. China, in particular, was plunged into extreme chaos. No way, this has to be fake. I still don't believe it. That's definitely a deep fake. It's not fabricated. Experts already verified it. Look, Even now, none of the people in the video have shown their faces. L. Funny how there was a failed terror attempt in Pyongyang and a successful one in Beijing. L. Beijing didn't have the cute hung hamster. Right. If it had, it would have gone, ho, sruk, hung? Aren't players going to get oppressed now? Highly likely. Normally they're civilians, but with the Liberation Rune necklace, it's different. Hey, is that necklace really that common? No. It only drops above the 71st floor, and even then the probability is extremely low. Only state-backed players ever even see it. L. Then what about Pyongyang and Beijing? There were signs of Liberation Rune necklace usage in both cases. L. There's a conspiracy. The state might be involved. There were rumors that the Chinese government was behind the Pyongyang incident. Could this be the same? Who knows? And that Beijing terrorists' claims were nonsense too. Yeah, mass Chinese socialism. What even is that? How does socialism mix with sinocentrism? Sounded like he was just spouting whatever came to mind. He claimed to be a player, but maybe he wasn't one. L. Still, some of it rang true. Exploitation. L. Being ruled by pigs isn't exactly wrong. Liu Zhao's face definitely changed, probably because he took the elixir of rejuvenation. Anyway, looks like they'll be changing presidents again. That was the reality. Whatever the cause, China's top leaders kept dying one after another, and two of those deaths were at the hands of players. Wang Yuan died after coveting the 71st floor reward set and getting beaten to death by the player Bei Long. Liu Zhao was blown apart in a terror attack carried out by an unidentified madman suspected to be a Chinese player. The emergency committee hastily assembled amid the power vacuum ordered public security to find the player shown in the video. Every registered Chinese player became a target of investigation. A storm swept through the country. A full-scale crackdown on players began. The notorious reputation of Chinese public security was well known. Players were dragged away, beaten, tortured. Those who fled after failing to endure were declared wanted criminals. As a result, discontent began to simmer among Chinese players. What had they done wrong? High-level Chinese players, in particular, grew increasingly resentful by the day. And what about other countries? Regardless of the reason, two terror incidents suspected to involve the Liberation Rune necklace had already occurred. Should players be regulated? But how? In truth, these incidents had been anticipated the moment the Liberation Rune necklace first appeared, so the perspective had to change. Rather than regulating players, it was better to secure players with proven skill and trust. They should be issued Liberation Rune necklaces so they could respond to potential incidents. This very case proved it. If even one player wearing a Liberation Rune necklace had been among the Diluc headquarters guards, would the outcome not have been different? Washington, D.C., United States, the Tower Climbing Bureau under the Department of Homeland Security. Gerald, take this. Antonio, the director, handed something over. Gerald's eyes widened. These are Liberation Rune necklaces, two of them? Yes, gifts from the East Tower and the West Tower. Gerald knew. They were items he had personally received and then returned to the state. Why give them back to me? I got approval from above. We decided to hand them to the person who can use them best. I'm honestly flustered. If I wear these, I'd be no different from a superhuman. That's right, Super Gerald. Did you ever consider that I might become a dangerous individual? Antonio chuckled softly. If I thought that would happen, I'd have confiscated the Liberation Rune necklace you already had. What? Did you think we wouldn't know? That you manifested your player abilities in your basement and secretly trained? Keep it hidden. If something happens in the US too, we might need to ask you for help. Well then, in this way, Governments around the world began issuing liberation rune necklaces to vetted, trustworthy players. Honestly, it was a reasonable approach. After all, only a liberation rune necklace could counter another liberation rune necklace. Meanwhile, there was one person who was more shaken than anyone else. Chairman Kim Il-jung of North Korea. He watched the Beijing explosion video dozens of times from start to finish. His reaction? Shock, for a completely different reason. That is definitely Comrade Go Sajuk. He knew it at a glance, even though the face was different. So what if the face was different? Kim Il-jung already knew. He knew that Go Sajuk, Minister of the People's Armed Forces, could freely change his face. But the way he spoke, the way he moved, certain unique habits inevitably slipped through. The Chinese player in the video was unquestionably Go Sajuk, and the bomb used had to be the same nuclear backpack that Major Jiang Changsu had once carried. This was not speculation, it was certainty. A chill ran down his spine. China was a massive country. That was why, even though he knew China was behind the attack, all he could do was lodge a protest. But Go Sajuk? The moment he realized China was responsible, he did not hesitate to eliminate the chairman and the standing committee. What did that mean? Kim Il-jung's life was worth no more than a fly's. A single flick of the hand, and he would be dead. I must be careful. His body trembled. The future felt utterly uncertain. He had to survive, and to do that, he needed to ingratiate himself, no matter what. With Go Sajuk? No. With someone even higher, player Bong Joo-hyek. That man held the reins of his life, but how was he supposed to curry favor? He needed to understand him first. Well, he's a player, at least. For now, perhaps he should visit the Pyongyang branch of the Korean Awakening Administration and meet Commissioner Park Kyung-soo. Joo-hyuk was chatting with Mari for the first time in a while, their shut-in alchemist. Among the summoned entities, she had grown a bit close to Kyondale and Rajix, but otherwise she barely spoke to anyone. What could he do? He had to spend time with her whenever he had the chance. But today, she messaged first. Marin Wimp. Knock knock, Summoner Nim, what are you doing right now? Mari, I'm just resting. Sorry I haven't been able to hang out with you lately. I've been busy. Hehe, it's okay, there's plenty to do alone on Earth. Ho ho, we should all hang out together sometime. Someday. Oh, I have something to give you. I've been making it for a while. Oh, an item made by an RSR alchemist. How could it be ordinary? Joo-hyuk hurried over to Mari's door. Creak. The door opened just enough for a hand to slip through. Then a glass bottle came out. Tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 bottles in total. Yes, liquor, the same kind he had tasted once before. Absolutely phenomenal. Especially good for men, though even if it made you better, there was nowhere to use it. Thank you, I'll enjoy it. If possible, please drink it alone. It's really good liquor, especially never give it to that nightmare woman. Come on, what was the fun in that? Alcohol tasted better when shared with friends, and good for men. Then he would drink it alone with Mad Demon. And there's one more thing. More items came through the crack in the door. They piled up neatly in front of Joo-hyuk. What were these? Jewels, stones shimmering in a harmonious mix of blue and purple. They shone brilliantly. More than that, an intense energy radiated from them. Dense, concentrated mana. These are top-grade magic stones. I succeeded in refining them. Altogether, it should be about 12 kilograms. What? Top-grade magic stones. He had been waiting for these for a long time. The moment he received them, Joo-hyuk entered White Tower Floor 17. White Tower Floor 17 looked completely different from when he had first arrived. Lush green fields and a gently flowing river. A power plant and communication towers stood in the distance. residential complexes lined both sides of an asphalt road. It was practically a city-building simulation game. You could do anything here. The internet worked. Electronic devices functioned without being plugged in. When he checked his smartphone, it was already at 100% battery, a truly perfect self-sufficient world. So how do you get residency rights? Midden, India. You may grant residency rights to any being with a soul. Residents may stay here freely for as long as they wish, with no time limit. Cost: 1 kilogram of top-grade magic stones per individual. How do you issue it? Grant residency rights. 1 kg of top-grade magic stones from your inventory will be consumed. Grant. Rehadzingandia komshnioli duamit komstin cost. O not is namamstif cost. 5 kg of high-grade magic stones. Juhao checked it in his inventory. It looked like a plastic card. On the front were the words, White Tower Floor 17 Residency Rights. So I just give this to whoever I want. At that very moment, first to grant residency rights menu. Huh? This counted as an achievement too. What now? A menu expansion, just like before. Last time, an achievement reward had added the elevator installation menu. So what had been added this time? Grants a 1-day trial stay at White Tower Floor 17 to any being with a soul, valid for 1 day. Cost: 1 kilogram of high-grade magic stones per individual. Monthly lease pass. Grants a 1-month stay at White Tower Floor 17 to any being with a soul, valid for 1 month. Cost: 30 kilograms of high-grade magic stones per individual. Those were the 2 new options. Great. Looks like I've accidentally become a real estate agent. Juyak issued 12 residency rights cards using 12 kilograms of top-grade magic stones. 11 cards were for the catalogued summoned entities including Bloodwolf and the defector Diamat, with 1 spare card remaining. The funny thing was that they were physical cards, rigid plastic, just like credit cards. Worried they might get lost, he even stopped by a dollar store near his place and bought employee ID lanyard holders so they could be worn around the neck. At last, he could grant residency rights. Once granted, they should register properly. He gathered all the summoned entities who had been resting here and there. Everyone, attention, I've got something to hand out to all of you. Badges, my lord. Has my artistic soul finally been recognized through the Beijing Explosion short film? That's later. And RSR folks, try to hold back a little, all right? The SSR folks need badges too for skill upgrades. Yes, my lord. Juyak pulled a card from his inventory. Ta-da! This is it. The summoned entity's eyes widened. Whoa, a corporate card. Can we just swipe it however we want? It's not a corporate card. It's residency rights. Residency rights. Quick-witted Gyundale raised her hand first. Young master, by residency rights, you don't mean the White Tower. Yes. Residency rights for White Tower Floor 17. Huh? Wow! The summoned entities' faces lit up with anticipation. Until now, they had only heard about it. They had heard that Lord Bong the Summoner had built communication towers, power plants, housing complexes, and roads there, yet no one could enter. They had been incredibly curious. Even souls from the other world knew nothing about the White Tower's existence, a complete mystery, an unknown world. And now, residency rights for that place? How could they resist? Line up, I'll hand them out one by one. A crowd surged forward. Spot! Fast as lightning, Cossack was standing at the very front. I'm first, my lord. I'm a founding contributor, ain't I? At that, Gundale snapped sharply. Sir Cossack, do you know no shame? Have you no manners? In a land of Eastern etiquette, how dare you behave so brazenly? Yield to Lord Mad Demon. I'm from the land of Eastern etiquette too. Tsk, tsk, tsk. Nothing but a loud mouth. At that moment, Mad Demon shoved Cossack aside and stepped forward. Cutting in line. My snack disengagement time has only minutes left. Yield. Cossack's eyes darted around. Zing! A crescent-shaped sword aura brimming with destructive force floated above Mad Demon's hand. What choice did he have? Okay, just this once. A wise decision. Mad Demon's time really was almost up. Among the summoned entities, Mad Demon and Mari had the shortest manifestation durations. They could be automatically unsummoned at any moment. They had to go first. Juhek placed the residency rights card into the ID holder and personally hung it around Mad Demon's neck. Lord Mad Demon, congratulations on becoming a resident of White Tower Floor 17. My thanks. At that moment, BZZZs, BZZs, the card vibrated inside the holder. Then, SSSK, SSSK. Letters engraved themselves onto the back of the card. In Korean, of course. White Tower resident, Mad Demon. Oh, fascinating. It's like an ID card. And then, ding, a message appeared. First to grant residency rights. Another achievement. Is the White Tower an achievement pit? Achievements breeding more achievements. A subcategory had been added. I'll check it later. Next was Mari. Juhek hurried to the room where the shut-in alchemist was. Here's your residency rights card. He opened the door just a crack and slid it inside. SSSST. A pale white hand reached out and took the card. At that exact moment, Spot, Mad Demon, was unsummoned as his time ran out. Then, through the crack in the door, Spot, Mari also returned to the other world. They could both be resummoned after 3 hours. Now we can take our time. With some room freed up in the simultaneous summon limit, it was time to summon Blood Wolf 2, his sole companion, Radjix. But would Blood Wolf qualify as a resident? Probably. The condition was simply a being with a soul. Blood Wolf, designated summon. Spot. Wah! Woof, woof. Radjix cheered as he welcomed Blood Wolf. Blood Wolf wagged its tail like a pinwheel and enthusiastically licked Radjix's face. Meanwhile, the summoned entities had already lined up again. There was no need to rush anymore. The remaining manifestation times were all at least an hour. Who should I start with? He needed to see how the residency system actually worked. So, Princess, you called for this maiden, young master. I'll put it on you first. Ignoring Cossack's grumbling about being skipped again, Juhyuk hung the residency rights card holder around Kendale's neck. BZZ, BZZ, BZ, SSSK, SSSK. Letters engraved themselves. White Tower resident, Kendale. Third resident registered. Now that you're a resident, try entering the White Tower. How should I do that? Nothing popping into your head, like instructions on how to use the card? Nothing at all. Then try saying it out loud. Enter White Tower Floor 17. Just like entering the Black Tower. This maiden shall try. White Tower Floor 17. Enter. Nothing happened. Maybe a different phrasing? Enter White Tower Floor 17. Enter the White Tower, Floor 17, White Tower. No, none of it worked. Phew, what's the system doing? At least tell us how to enter. In this maiden's humble opinion, perhaps if you enter first, young master, this maiden may follow behind you? That made sense. The Black Tower worked like that too. What a hassle. If it grants residency rights, it should at least allow free entry and exit. All right, let's go in together. Juhyuk muttered quietly. Enter White Tower Floor 17. Spot. He entered. But he was alone. Gandale had not followed. Had she not been registered properly? Juhyuk opened the menu and tapped Sis datu 7 tamdes nord, enimnisi tug, Dorden Lois, Gandale. All 3 were registered. Then why couldn't she enter? Do I have to summon them inside floor 17? That was when, summoner. Ah, shit, you scared me. Juhyuk jumped when someone suddenly spoke and laid a hand on his shoulder. This place was supposed to be empty, Lord Mad Demon? Yes. It is I. Why was he here? Weren't you unsummoned? Indeed, I thought I would return to the infinite prison, the world of souls, but instead I was moved here. I could not leave either, so I was quite bewildered. Unsummoned, yet here. And this place, is it truly White Tower Floor 17? Relergabem Pajal. Yes, where's Mary? She is over there. Mary was crouched in a corner of the residential district. She had not returned to the other world either. What was going on? Gandale couldn't enter, but these two were here? Could it be that unsummoning interacted with entry to floor 17? Don't tell me. To confirm it, Juhek immediately exited White Tower floor 17. Spot, you're back. You went in alone. This maiden did not follow. Isn't this a scam, the despicable administrator's trickery? He calmed the crowd, then unsummoned Gandale. Spot. Gandale vanished. Then he re-entered floor 17. Young master, what is the meaning of this? Gandale was there. Now it was clear. Your home has changed from the infinite prison to White Tower floor 17. What? That was it. They were summoned entities. Their original dwelling was the other world, the infinite prison, the world of souls. But they had received residency rights. Now they had a home, White Tower floor 17. So, they had moved. Their souls themselves had relocated from the infinite prison to White Tower floor 17. In other words, their address had been changed. I understand now. So that is how it works. Then I truly can no longer return to that place. Are you disappointed? Not in the slightest. Disappointed? This is no different from soul liberation. Mad Demon's face flushed red with exhilaration. Summoner, do you realize how monumental this is? Well, not really. You have saved this old man from that dreadful world, from that prison where I did not wish to remain even for a single hour. I have finally escaped. Ha 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 ha! Mad Demon laughed heartily, then seized Juhyuk's hand. What would have become of me had I not met you? Thank you, truly thank you. Please accept this old man's bow. He dropped flat and bowed deeply. Oh, please, get up. In a way, it made sense. A world of souls where all 5 senses were sealed. It must have been unimaginably painful, but now he no longer had to go back. Kyondale looked just as overjoyed. She bowed again and again, as if she might take flight. Young master's grace is as vast as the sea. This maiden shall engrave it upon her heart for all her days. Such a boundless favor. I scarcely know where to place myself. Thank you, my deepest thanks. I am overwhelmed. Good grief, why are they all making such a production out of it? Mary had to be happy too. Though she still refused to show her face, the trembling of her back conveyed her joy perfectly. In any case, now that he understood the situation, it was time to explain it to the others. Spot. He stepped back outside and explained what residency rights truly meant. What? Did I hear that wrong? Senior Officer Veronica Caliber, surely I misheard. I still don't quite understand. My lord, it is simply too overwhelming to grasp. Master? Master? Please explain it again, slowly. After a detailed explanation, realization finally dawned. Really? Then we don't have to go back? My goodness, the summoned entities all knew the summoner would not lie, but the truth was so staggering that they were left stunned. We don't have to return? A permanent farewell to the accursed infinite prison. Their emotions surged. Summoner Nim, who, I don't know how to express what is in my heart. Don't cry. Ahem, Commander, victory. Wah, a sea of tears. Not tears of sorrow, but tears of overwhelming joy. Hey, why are they crying? Line up. I'll grant residency rights. Mr. Cossack, our Minister of the People's Armed Forces, come on over. But, Cossack hesitated, shuffling his feet. What was he up to now? Lord Bong the Summoner, yes. Could we postpone mine until later? Later when? Until after I get unsummoned and go back to the infinite prison once. Yeah, huh? He wants to go back there, even though he doesn't have to? If you take it now, you can never go back. That's right. The souls over there won't even know we moved to White Tower floor 17. So, I won't be able to brag. Even if I'm leaving for good, I gotta go back once and brag about the address change. Cossack grinned. Teabagging is mandatory. Once I say it, the whole soul world's gonna go berserk. I can already see it. Teabagging. Not just bragging, but provocation and humiliation. I'm moving out. This trash neighborhood. I'm never coming back. The souls who heard it would go insane with envy and rage. Cossack intended to savor every last bit of it. Wow, what an evil bastard. But for Cossack, this was perfectly natural. If he passed up a chance like this, he wouldn't be Cossack. Fine, let him have his way. It wasn't difficult. All right, I'll give you yours next time you're summoned. What about the rest of you? Silence. No one raised a hand. What? Don't tell me. You all want yours next time? Nod, nod. You want to brag? Nod, nod. Figures. All right, unsummoning everyone. Spot, 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 spot. Go brag your hearts out and come back. In any case, the reward was far greater than expected. Now the summoned entities could wait comfortably in a space nearly identical to Earth. But one question remained. What about ordinary people? Would they fully relocate too? A forced address change? That would be bad. There was no easy way to test it. For now, he should not let ordinary people become residents. They might end up trapped on floor 17. Juhuk re-entered White Tower floor 17. Spot. Gondale and Mad Demon were wandering around in amazement, taking in the place. Mary seemed to be inside one of the houses. It felt good. Now they could be together at any time. Nothing else had really changed. Only the waiting room had. When summoned by Juhyuk, they would raid the Black Tower or spend time in the real world. When unsummoned or when their manifestation time ended, they would return to floor 17 to rest. Thus, the summoned entity's physical existence continued, so long as they remained with him. I should make this place even more comfortable. There was much to do. To further develop floor 17, he would need more high-grade magic stones. Oh, right. What about the menu added as an achievement reward? He tapped to check. Missment revokes a registered residence status and expels them from the White Tower. Missment. If expulsion was possible, then experiments involving ordinary people might also be possible. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Once, there had been an NOVLIGHT incident that shook the infinite prison, the world of souls. A massive protest against the administrators' overreach and their manipulation of probability. But it fizzled out. It boiled over and then cooled just as fast. Complaining changed nothing. All the souls could do was hope that the Earth Summoner would soon obtain a catalog expansion ticket and restart random summoning. Then, greetings. Have you all been well? An assassin, recently promoted to legendary rank after winning the Summoner's love and trust. Regrettably, I have come to bid you my final farewell. A farewell? Had something happened on Earth again? You know the White Tower, yes? I asked before, and all of you said you had never heard of it, but now its true nature has been revealed. What kind of place it is, he explained. White Tower allotments, residency rights, and how, upon unsummoning, they would wait there instead of in the world of souls. They had moved, changed addresses, shocking words, almost impossible to believe. Is it really true? Affirmative. We are leaving the infinite prison, the world of souls, completely. Voices chimed in. Victory. Senior Officer Veronica Caliber has received permanent transfer orders. Duration, forever. Farewell, everyone. I am off. A summoned entity truly must meet a good lord. My lord has become my new god. The same goes for warriors. If I had never been summoned, just imagining it is terrifying. Lucky me, I caught the last train. Defecting truly was the move of the gods. Wah, woof, woof, the teabagging began. Do not worry, everyone. Once random summoning resumes, it will be prison break time. Without a catalog expansion ticket, will random summoning even happen? Ah, right, it won't. Psk, no summoning, no residency rights. What is the use of a high rank if you cannot leave this place? In any case, take care. I do not know whether we shall ever meet again. Bye. Wah! Silence fell over the souls. Shock, disbelief, despair, anxiety, sorrow, frustration. Their emotions churned, then exploded all at once. You fucking bastards, sons of bitches. If I get out, assassin, you're the first one I kill. Car, why me? Why me? Let me out, or I'll kill everyone. Damnate. Let's all die. What's the point of living in this shithole? Cursed life, I can't do anything right. Pandemonium, still, as though clinging to one last thread of hope. Now, let us stay strong. One day we too will be summoned. I shall shout heave, and all of you shall shout ho. And together we shall pull ourselves upward. Heave, ho, heave, fuck that. Heave ho my ass, we're done for. No catalog expansion ticket. Done for, do not be weak. Together, heave, ho, heave, ho, heave. The soul's collapse was fiercer than ever before, so fierce that it tore through the barrier of the infinite prison and surged up into the heavens, and at last it reached something. Juhyek summoned all the previously summoned entities who had briefly gone back to the infinite prison just for bragging rights and granted them residency rights as well. Then he immediately used Dismiss Summon, straight back to White Tower Floor 17. Counting the summoned entities, the dog, and the defectors, there were now 11 people hanging around here, including Juhyek, that made 12. This place was not affected by the simultaneous summon limit. It was basically a waiting room. Whether they were random summons or converted defectors, he could accept whoever came and just send them to floor 17. They waited inside, and when Juhyek summoned them from outside floor 17, they would manifest, act during the manifestation period, then return. Outside the White Tower, however, the simultaneous summon limit still applied. Exactly 10 at most. Anyway, inside the waiting room, anything was possible. External communication and even electronic devices worked with no restrictions. There was a residential complex, paved roads, a parking lot, and even a swimming pool. So with physical bodies, they could eat and drink, play games, loaf around, watch TV, sleep, basically do whatever they wanted. Buildings, roads, and other infrastructure had been copied and pasted. Everything else was brought in from outside through subspace backpacks by Radix. Home appliances, food, even cars. What would I have done without Radix? Radix, the all-purpose handyman, the cosmic farmhand, the very foundation keeping Juhyek's party running. Wah! Radix started cleaning house after house together with Bloodwolf, arranging furniture and household goods as well. With his absurd cleaning skill, every place he passed through gleamed brilliantly. Thanks to that, They spent their days playing around happily. They barely even noticed time passing. Ah, peace itself. Another peaceful day on White Tower Floor 17. Everyone was entertaining themselves just fine. Spot, Cossack, who had apparently been fooling around too much and provoked Mad Demon again, fled in a panic. Pat, 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 pat. Mad Demon charged after Cossack with terrifying momentum. Under the warm sunlight, Veronica Caliber lay on a sunbed in a bikini, sunbathing. Next to her, Diamat lounged on another sunbed, sipping a mojito. Beside them was Kiandale. With books piled high around her, she read with elegant composure. Meatshield, Bardine, and Geppetto had gone out long ago, saying they were going to explore floor 17. And Mary? She had claimed one house as her own and buried herself in the internet with a laptop and tablet, occasionally brewing potions to supply to the player shop. For the summoned entities, this was heaven, a utopia. Juhyek felt deeply satisfied, but it still was not enough. He needed to copy more, paste more, and for that, securing high-grade magic stones was essential. Even the top-grade magic stones required for resident registration came from refining high-grade ones. Summoner Bong. Can't we refine normal magic stones into high-grade magic stones? Normal magic stones, high-grade magic stones, short for normal magic stones and high-grade magic stones. Ah, then top-grade ones would naturally be top-grade magic stones. I already asked Mari. The ratio is 1 to 1,000. You need to refine 1 ton of normal magic stones to get 1 kilogram of high-grade magic stones. Time was not exactly abundant. Yikes, that's insanely inefficient. You only need to refine high-grade magic stones into top-grade magic stones. Agreed. In that case, how about going to mine more high-grade magic stones? One advantage of White Tower Floor 17 being a waiting room, recruiting personnel for high-grade magic stone mining. 1 tanker, 1 laborer, multiple DPS. The summoned entities all raised their hands, shouting, "Me! Me!" Thief classes are a little... I'll work hard. I can bandage myself. Please let me join. Well, all right. White Tower Floor 17 had turned into a labor market. Noble tanker Mr. Meatshield, sub-tank Mr. Barden, commoner DPS Cossack and Geppetto, and the cosmic high noble Lord Radix with Blood Wolf. Get ready. He only needed to call the required personnel. Before, he had summoned everyone indiscriminately and let them fool around at home, but that was no longer necessary. The numbers were still small, so calling it a market felt a little shabby. But what if more people gathered later? Juhyuk left White Tower Floor 17. Then he used designated summon. Spot, spot, spot. Today's objective was mining high-grade magic stones. They had been rotating between Tower Number 1, Tower Number 2, and Floor 76, but the veins were gradually drying up. Unlike item vaults, ore veins did not reset. They would eventually be depleted. Before that happened, they needed to secure another tower. Anyway, let's go in. Today's mining site was Spot, a valley like the backdrop of an ink-wash landscape painting, a place where natural energies and flowing currents of harmony converged. That was why high-grade magic stones formed here in veins. Is there another floor like this? That was when, someone was there. Not a monster. He had experienced something like this before. Again? That bastard. Looks like he's having fun. A single person stood before them, like a hologram. Administrator? That was right, but he felt subtly different from before. For the first time? Nice to meet you for the first time. For the first time? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I knew it. They deserved to be fired. For the first time, said that kid. Of course it was angry. Random summoning had been suspended because of probability manipulation. It seemed the earlier protest and Cossacks bragging had actually worked. By the way, what happened to dismissed administrators? Oh, that was great. So before reward probabilities are restored, we would like to compensate you for the harm you suffered. Compensate me? No way. What a jackpot. No need to apologize. But what was the compensation? What? No need to apologize. But what was the compensation? Cossack immediately flew into a rage. Hey, you bastard, you're pulling that equivalent exchange nonsense again, aren't you? Trying to secretly jack up the difficulty. No? What do you take me for? I swear there will be absolutely no change in difficulty. And if you're lying, and a pure and flawless soul incapable of lying, I was born that way, pure and flawless. Did he think he was some kind of angel? Really? That is signed it. The difficulty of the 82nd floor will remain unchanged. Well, it is slightly harder than the 81st floor, since it is part of the giant monster zone, and the higher you go, the stronger the enemies become. That is simply the rule of the tower. The floors in the 80s were the giant monster zone. No wonder Behemoth had appeared right away. But if they got bigger, the higher they went. By the way, there was a world announcement earlier saying that explosions based on Earth science, gunpowder, nuclear fission, nuclear fusion do not occur, right? They could have lifted at least that much. For the sprue have prepared rewards you will find satisfactory. The guaranteed rewards are an enormous quantity of high-grade magic stones, a catalog expansion ticket, and one random skill rune. 3 rewards at once. Just hearing that sounded good. And finally, a catalog expansion ticket. That meant random summoning would resume soon. How enormous is enormous for high-grade magic stones? So much that they will not even fit in your inventory. At least 10 tons, I would say. Since you acquired the White Tower, you probably need them more than ever these days. Of course he did. And what about the random rune? Is it possible to get a trait enhancement rune? Huh? He was confident. If it came down to luck, was Bong Juhyuk not unbeatable? Had he gotten this far through skill? No, he had gotten here through insane pulls. Huh? There is also a hidden mission. It offers the same enormous quantity of high-grade magic stones and 1 random rune as rewards. Huh? A hidden mission? And the rewards were great too. And Happentistan Than Spooneer has a connection to the giant monster guarding the 82nd floor. A connection? Who could that be? Of course, you do not have to clear the hidden mission. What did he mean, do not have to? He was going to clear everything, main mission and hidden mission alike. Wait, could it be, do 82nd floors in other towers get the same rewards? For example, tower number 2, or towers in other countries? If you're going to give, then give Novelite, only on Novelite, generously. Though honestly he had not expected that much to begin with. I win then now. From now on, I will never appear before you again. I wish you good fortune. Juhyuk cautiously waved a hand. Goodbye. Don't go too far. The new administrator chuckled at the sight. Do not relax. I may be responsible for operating the tower, but I am also an existence that gives trials to players. Trials were just life itself. I'll do my best within the authority I have. You should do your best as well, though you will despair anyway once you reach the 90th floor. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. If you're leaving, then just leave. Why curse people on the way out and ruin the mood? Compensation for the former administrator's abuse of authority and normalization of the probabilities, all of it would be granted upon clearing the 82nd floor. When Juhyuk returned to White Tower Floor 17 and told the summoned entities about his conversation with the new administrator, "Oh, a random rune. That sounds like a fine reward." The guaranteed catalog expansion ticket is also truly welcome. They said it's the giant monster zone. Won't it be difficult? It'll be harder than Behemoth, but they said they won't touch the difficulty. The real issue is the hidden mission. Yep, they said one of us has a connection to the 82 ND floor monster. It must be related to that. If it's the giant monster zone, then maybe… Hyundai glanced sideways at Meatshield. Could it be a fully matured super demonic beast Hydra? That was possible. Meatshield's themed floor, the one they had met during the ultra-high difficulty mission on the 72nd floor, had been an incomplete necromantic Hydra. A fully grown Hydra would also count as a giant monster. That thing could appear. A warrior does not mind. In fact, that is what I hope for. I will tear off all 9 heads. Unshakable confidence. As expected of Meatshield, the barbarian warrior. Let's go first. Republic of Korea Black Tower, No. 1, 82nd floor. The place where a one-time special reward awaited. The random rune was tempting, but the guaranteed rewards were also something to look forward to. An enormous quantity of high-grade magic stones, twice over, no less. At least 10 tons, they said. That meant there was a chance to use it, the item he had stored in his inventory after receiving it as a privilege. Item additional acquisition ticket. Effect. If used before clearing a tower mission, item rewards increase from a minimum of 2x to a maximum of 10x. Limitation. Does not apply to tickets or rune items. 10 times the high-grade magic stone reward. Hitting the jackpot. That would be insane. A mission with no difficulty adjustment. That meant a freebie. Yes, sounds great. If he cleared both the main mission and the hidden mission, 2 chances at enormous quantities of high-grade magic stones, 2 chances at random runes, and a catalog expansion ticket. He would get the expansion ticket, expand the catalog, and immediately summon new entities. Anyway, what was the environment like on the 82nd floor? First impression, it was dark. It felt like stepping into a massive cave, probably underground. Didn't we meet the Hydra in a cave too? So what if it was fully grown? There were 4 powerhouse summoned entities here. Game over. Giant-sized Meatshield lifted Bardine of Radiance high overhead like a torch. Light. If WAAASAH, the surroundings lit up so brightly it hurt the eyes. Juhek and the summoned entities advanced deeper into the underground cave. A massive cavern opened up ahead. A wide, towering space where a giant monster could move freely. Then, ding, a mission appeared. Dampiniert, defeat 1 giant monster Apophis, Dampinim. Within 15 hours, Dampinim, a mission appeared. Defeat 1 giant monster Apophis 01. So it's not a Hydra? Apophis. That name sounded familiar. And then, SH. From one side of the dark cavern, a giant serpent slithered out. Apophis. It was so enormous that even a KTX train would have looked pitiful beside it in length and thickness. TSRRP. Even its tongue was the size of an Amazonian boa constrictor. It's huge, still about on par with Behemoth. Indeed, a warrior can handle it. Doesn't look too difficult. At that moment, ding. Summoned entity Rajik's revenge against Apophis. Rajix deals at least 10% of Apophis's total HP in damage, 10%. What? It was Rajix? Now it all made sense. The cause of Rajix's death. He had been swallowed by Apophis in an underground labyrinth. That was why the hidden mission required revenge. Rajix had to deal at least 10% of Apophis's total HP. Of all people, Rajix, a non-combat laborer class. Is that even possible? Juhek looked toward Rajix, but, where did he go? He had been standing right beside him only moments ago. Then Gendale pointed with a finger. Over there, Radix was crouched in a corner. His forehead was pressed to the ground, and his whole body was trembling violently. He seemed too terrified even to look at Apophis. He could not meet its gaze. It looked like severe trauma, PTSD, and in that state he had to deal 10% of Apophis's total HP. Rodents' natural enemy was reptiles, snakes, and this was the very creature that had swallowed him whole. It hurt to watch. Was he really supposed to force him to fight in this condition? Juhek wrestled with it for a long time. Then he made his decision. I'll give up on the hidden mission. This was not something that should be forced. It was far too heavy a burden for Radix. He would use Dismiss Summon and let him rest on floor 17. No. Would avoiding it really solve anything? Radix's trauma would remain forever. This was not about clearing the mission or the reward. We're resetting this 82 Undead floor mission too. Pardon? He still had one tower clearing mission reset ticket left. That's a good call. The reward's a shame, though. It's a one-time chance. What matters isn't the reward. That stuff is take it or leave it. A pathetic, oversized snake daring to become trauma for our cosmic farmhand. Unacceptable. Absolutely intolerable. Even skinning it for bags would not be enough, or maybe turning it into snake liquor. Top priority. Helping Radix overcome his trauma. We're doing it. That's right. Radix the laborer is not weak. This young lady believes as well. The title of Cosmic Farmhand is not bestowed lightly. Senior Veronica Caliber agrees. The experience our quartermaster has built up will not disappear. This old man shall help as well. The summoner is right. The reward is not the issue. We must overcome the ghosts of the past. Everyone believed in Radix. Apophis should appear in Tower number 2 as well. We'll train against that one first, then clear Tower number 1, where the special reward is. Juyuk took a ticket out of his inventory. Do you wish to use a tower clearing mission reset ticket? Exiting the tower clearing mission reset ticket, and thus the Radix Trauma Recovery Project began. The training ground was Republic of Korea Black Tower, No. 2, 82nd floor, the giant monster zone, the 80th floors of the Black Tower. On the 82nd floor, giant monster Apophis appears in every tower around the world. Since there had been no difficulty adjustment, it should be similar to Behemoth, or perhaps just a little harder. For Radix practical training, Juhyuk and the summoned entities climbed Tower number 2, 82nd floor. Tower number 2's 82nd floor had no special rewards attached. There was no hidden mission either. Nin namus, mutet mand mantis samwi tam non, hindamus fontang, fitis mortam bandam mantas, nitam naninins, nitam non, itam non dandam ba, lusam slandam bandanam, migdam bandam ban, atanonab, midam nins, nistinamda, nitam batanin, hitam nuditam, midam nuns the sun, tis slandatam beer. Giant monster Apophis appeared inside the underground. First, Juhyuk recorded Apophis's full body on his smartphone, the second monster of the giant monster zone. People needed to see just how enormous this thing really was. Before the assault, Juhyuk and the summoned entities gathered to devise a plan. First, we need to make Radix understand that Apophis is nothing but small fry, less than an earthworm, a creature that could not harm him in the slightest. That truth needed to be engraved into Radix's mind. We must go all out from the start. Correct. Instant annihilation. Everyone, use your finishing moves. Let's open with a heavy round. Mad Demon, use that ominous crescent-shaped aura of yours too. No, I'll charge in with my body. He needs to feel the impact. This warrior will hold it down. Let Blood Wolf join the fight and tear into it. Radix, trembling violently while gripping a long pole, stared at Apophis's massive form. He had already chugged courage potions and mental fortification elixirs by the handful. yet he was still like this. Overcoming past trauma was that difficult, even for an all-purpose handyman. What are you doing, cosmic farmhand? Wah, stay strong. Once we kill that snake bastard, we'll soak it in liquor, we'll give it to Summoner Bong. Do you know how good snake liquor is for stamina? That's right, laborer. We need to get our summoner married. One Wells, quartermaster, Veronica Caliber will protect you. Juhyuk hugged Rajix tightly and spoke. Watch carefully, see how we deal with that thing. All right, time to move, for overwhelming suppression. Let's go. Food, 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 food. Ooh, giant-sized meat shield charged straight at Apophis. KR. At the same time, zing, CRR Zev, pooish, a heavy shell fired by Veronica Caliber. Kaboom! Meat Shield wrapped his arms tightly around Apophis's massive body as it writhed from the damage, but the serpent coiled itself and began to constrict him. Pat, 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 pat. Gandale's binding talismans flew out one after another and latched on. Next, Mad Demon, armed with that blood-red aura, plunged both hands deep into Apophis's relatively soft belly. Krog! Covered in blood, Mad Demon ripped organs out from within. Apophis thrashed violently in agony. Bardin smashed his radiance flail down onto the monster's massive skull. Crack! Grrr! Crunch! Bloodwolf bit down on the tip of Apophis's tail and refused to let go. Geppetto sank his fangs into the serpent's body. Diamat cast a dream-based curse. Juhyek joined in as well, for the first time in a while. He released lightning attribute homunculi to harass Apophis. Crack! Bzeez! It really was strong, a giant monster after all. As it twisted and resisted, people were thrown aside like leaves, yet they clung on stubbornly, ignoring defense entirely and attacking relentlessly. Everyone fought at full power. At last, Apophis fell into a near-death state. Huff, puff, see, I told you, total small fry. Perfect chance to show the dignity of the cosmic farmhand. Wag! Still trembling. Come over here, Rajix. One step is all it takes. Show us the proud spirit of the cosmic farmhand. This old man will help. Come closer, strike its head. A laborer is already a warrior. Quartermaster. Woof, woof, woof. Rajix stood there, his face twisted in fear. It was understandable. If trauma were that easy to overcome, it would not be trauma, it would just be a bad memory. Still, Rajix gathered what courage he could. Looking at the other summoned entities, he took one step, then another. Hesitating, trembling, eyes squeezed shut, he moved forward little by little. Gripping the long pole pickaxe with both hands, he toddled toward Apophis. All right, applause. Pat, 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 pat. Well done, well done. The cosmic farmhand is advancing. Bow your heads. That's it. One more step. We love you, quartermaster. Oh, so brave. Light, woof. Rajix moved forward bit by bit, very slowly, extremely encouraging progress. Compared to before, when he could not even look at the monster, this was a huge leap. Then, ding. Amon, mompiuguis, uwilling, budanayam, bunidu, mustins nind, mulinst mom, buladium, muling, bulin, bulin mule. Mulin Pulin, Mulin Mule, Mulin Mulin, Bulin Pulin, Bulin Pulin, Mulin Pulin, Mulin Bulin Mule, Mulin Mulin, Bulin Pulin, Porta Mist Mule, Pumpin Pulin, Mulin Bulin, Bulin Minpin, Bulin Pulin, Bulin Bulin, Bulin Bulin, Bulin Pulin, Bulin Pulin, Bulin Pulin, Booze Mulin, Zampin Teulnin, Mimin Bulin. Even so, Juhyek was very satisfied. Even though Rajix had not dealt even 1% damage to Apophis, could anyone be full on the first bite? What mattered was that Rajix had taken a brave first step. Rajix's training continued. At the very least, he had learned to walk. Now he needed to face Apophis directly. What remained was dealing 10% damage. That was the hard part. What weapon should he use? Preferably something that allowed distance. A bow? Veronica Caliber's magic gun? But Rajix was non-combat. No skills, no proficiency. So they devised an extended-length pickaxe to ease his fear by letting him strike from afar. A pickaxe head firmly fixed to the end of an extremely long pole. Rajix only needed to do what he was best at. His mining ability was exceptional. He shattered rocks with a pickaxe to extract high-grade magic stones. Thus began Rajix's daily intensive training. When tower entry limits were reached, virtual training inside White Tower Floor 17. Cossack acted as drill instructor. Meatshield played Apophis. Wearing a snake mask, Meatshield lay flat on the ground. A mask alone would not make him a real snake, but Gaindale's illusion talismans made up the difference. Slapped onto his forehead, he transformed into something close to Apophis. Meatshield writhed on the ground, imitating a snake. Wiggle, wiggle. Before him stood Rajix, holding the long pole pickaxe. It's a snake, healthy, tasty snake. Wiggle. Meatshield advanced while twisting his body, utterly serious. Cossack, wearing sunglasses, pointed and barked orders. Strike, hard. Like you're smashing a snake's head. Hui. Juhyuk too. Rajix, just try hitting it once. Hard. Hui. The other summoned entities joined in. Strike. You may strike. Come. Strike. Voices came from all sides. Startled, Rajix swung the long pole pickaxe. Whoosh, crack, a perfect hit, right where the illusion talisman was. Then, TSHHET, the illusion faded. Meatshield's real face appeared, with the pickaxe embedded in his forehead. Hoo-ah! Rajix's hands shook violently. Understandable, he had just smashed a comrade in the head himself. Clatter! The pickaxe dropped to the ground. With teary, trembling eyes, Rajix toddled toward Meatshield. Wah! As if apologizing, he hugged Meatshield's head tightly. It's fine, laborer, not even a scratch. You can hit harder. Hoing! Overcome with guilt, Rajix burst into tears. Meatshield patted him reassuringly. It doesn't hurt. Don't cry. A warrior understands a laborer's heart. But Cossack sneered. How touching. Are we filming a third-rate melodrama? Bad acting, not fun, no tears. Look, there's not even any blood. You should have at least punched a hole through Meatshield's skull. Stop blubbering. You need to grow tougher. He was not wrong. A hole in the head would have been better. So Juhyuk stepped in. Let's change roles. Change. Then Bardin. No. Minister of the People's Armed Forces Cossack will play Apophis. What? I think Rajix wants that too. Hoi, you heard him. Cossack's eyes darted around. His foot slid back. He was about to bolt. Grab him. Swack. Mad Demon blocked the escape route. Thump. Meatshield sprang up and grabbed Cossack's legs. Pop. Cossack leapt into the air. Skywalker. Mad Demon flew up as well. Void leap. Pat, 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 pat. He did not get far. Gandala's binding talisman wrapped around him. Thus the role swap was complete. Cossack, tightly bound, began imitating a snake. An illusion talisman slapped onto his forehead as well. Since we're here anyway, I'll show you some method acting. Ka. He flicked his tongue and crawled forward. Ka-cock, ka-cock. Hoot? Startled, Rajix instinctively raised the pole and smashed Cossack. Pack. Weak? Pack. Gook? Why, Meatshield only got hit once. Pack, pack, pack. Training proceeded smoothly. The next day, Rajix's intensive trauma recovery training continued. And once again, they visited Tower Number 2's 82nd floor, the live training ground. Repeated clearing missions, beating giant monster Apophis, bigger than a train. In truth, Rajix still remembered everything vividly, exactly how he had died in the labyrinth. He had been swallowed whole. After their eyes met, his body froze, unable to move at all. After that, total darkness. His entire body melted away in the monster's stomach acid. At the moment of death, a contract proposal arrived. I will give you a chance to live again. Wait in the world of souls. When the summoner calls you, help him save the world. He agreed. For Rajix, helping someone was instinctive. He had been a laborer since the moment he was born, the world of souls. Others called it the infinite prison. That seemed accurate. Aside from communicating, there was nothing he could do. Then he met the summoner. The short time spent with him was the happiest period of Rajix's existence, and his comrades. They did not discriminate against him and treated him as an equal. It was more than he deserved, but they acknowledged him as the cosmic farmhand. He was even a resident of White Tower Floor 17. He would not have to return to the infinite prison anymore. He thought all that remained was a novelite. Don't copy, read here, peaceful, happy life together. But then crisis struck. A ghost from the past, encountered in the tower. He thought he had forgotten. He thought he would never meet it again. He was afraid. He wanted to run away. But the summoner had encouraged him to overcome his trauma. If so, then he had to overcome it. What was there to fear? So many people were helping him. The dependable barbarian warrior had already overcome his own trauma by punishing the Hydra and the con man who had deceived him on the 71st, 72nd, and 73rd floors. That gentle fairy princess had also slain her nemesis and rescued her teacher on the 74th, 75th, and 76th floors. And the assassin, he had been killed by his own father. The pain of that loss was beyond imagining, yet he overcame it, so Regix stepped forward bravely. Ahead of him lay Apophis, bound and unable to move. His comrades had beaten the monster to within an inch of its life. A few more hits and it would die, but fear engraved into the soul. Why was taking even a single step so difficult? Those yellow eyes, that flicking tongue. Still, he went forward, at least until the long pole pickaxe could reach. And then he hesitated. Who? He raised the pole high overhead. Gulp! His comrades tensed. Rajix glanced sideways. He saw the summoner, eyes filled with worry. I must not make him worry. He squeezed his eyes shut. Whoosh! Teo-K! He finally landed a hit. At the same time, pat, 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 pat. Thunderous applause erupted. Hooray! Well done! A truly astonishing blow. Light! Woof, woof! Quartermaster, you're the best. Juyuk met Rajix's eyes and gave him a thumbs up. Strength surged through Rajix. The first time was the hardest. What about the second? Huek! He swung wildly. Pack, 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 pack. Crack, crack, crack. What was this? The summoner was right. Small fry. He did not know exactly what the word meant, but it clearly meant something utterly insignificant. Yes, this thing was trivial. Small fry. Huek! He began to pummel it, like mining ore. Ted, 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 Ted. Rhythmic blows. He felt exhilarated. This time, let's hit harder. He swung the pole behind his head. Who is this? Drawing on the core strength honed through mining, herb gathering and cleaning. ZPPIR, a powerful downward strike. Crack. The recoil sent Rajix's body lifting into the air. Nice. Worth getting hit instead of meat shield. You might even learn martial arts at this rate. Crack, crack, crack. He struck without pause. Summoner, are you watching? I overcame it. Then, Huambwa, Huai time black. Huamin Wam, Hu I Tu Kaim Blak, Hu Hang. Before the exit message appeared, rumble, 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 Rajix dashed toward Apophis's corpse, which had died in an instant. The know-how he had accumulated skinning basilisks and wyverns, he quickly pulled out the golden flaying knife from his subspace backpack. Slice, slice. He separated flesh from hide at the head. Hui? Rajix signaled to Meat Shield with his eyes. Ah, got it. Meat Shield grabbed the hide. Rajix pointed toward the tail. Hold it and run. Hook. Dud, 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 dud. Meat Shield sprinted at terrifying speed. R.I.P. The hide peeled away in one go. Tumble, tumble, tumble. Rajix rolled along with it, but, not enough time. He had not even skinned a quarter of it. No choice. At least this much. Slice! Rajix cut the hide midway and stuffed it into his subspace backpack. Hoon spot. Juhek and the party emerged back at the penthouse. Pat, 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 pat. The applause continued even after exiting. He had completely overcome his trauma, and on top of that, he had even skinned part of the monster. Rajix puffed out his chest, breathing heavily in his usual way. His chest swelled proudly. Preparations were complete. Rajix, the brave one who had conquered his fear. Together they headed for Tower Number 1, where the special mission awaited. Missions appeared in succession. 1 Baloo, summoned entity Rajix's revenge against Apophis. Rajix deals at least 10% of Apophis's total HP and damage, 10%. Are you confident? Hook. You can step on Apophis, right? Hook. Then let's go. Hook. The raid began. Rip. The item additional acquisition ticket was torn. Rim. If 2x to a maximum of 10x, a sturdy golden safety helmet, eyes gleaming, resolute steps, a long pole pickaxe clenched tight. Hoo! A resounding roar. Rajix reborn as a warrior. The summoned entities clung to Apophis's massive body. Then Guandale's binding talismans, 1, 2, 3, latched on, freezing the monster completely. Rajix strode forward. Apophis's head entered the attack range of the long pole pickaxe. Rajix swung. Whoosh! The blow struck Apophis's skull. Crack. 1 hit. Whoosh. Crack. 2 hits. Whoosh. Crack. 3 hits. Re-hits. 3 hits. 3 hits. 3 hits. 3 hits. 3 head amden bet feindem rigid fenam. Illis rings, shaved off 1%, 27 hits to go.